Thank you and welcome to the show this morning. The topic this morning is Tabernacle Christian School, and we're fortunate to have the administrator of Tabernacle Christian School, Miss Stallworth, who will give us some information relative to her background, education, and experiences, Ms. Stallworth. And let me, of course, welcome you, Ms. Stallworth, to the show this morning, and to tell you how delighted we are to have you, especially dealing with the topic that we're dealing with, the Christian school,
Yes.
Your school in particular, Tabernacle Christian School. But since we are involved in almost reorganization of education in this country, I think that the Christian school now plays a more important role than ever. And so that's why what we want to do today is to talk about Tabernacle Christian School. But before we do that, let's have you to give us some information about your background, your education, and some of the things that were important in eventually leading you to as the administrator of Tabernacle Christian School, and then we'll talk about other things.
Well, it's wonderful to be here. I'm very excited to talk about my love, and certainly I believe education is a calling and a passion. And so I began this long ago with my mother being an English teacher, and still to this day. My principal, or my grandfather, who was a principal, Dr. Dave Johnson, there in Cocoa Beach, Florida, and Juanita Johnson, that is a home ec teacher for about 40 years. So education has just been pumping through and coursing through my veins for quite some time. I believe my first, I graduated from Florida State University. They're in Tallahassee, Florida, so I'm a Floridian. In my upbringing and my education, went to Florida State and finished and graduated from there. And my first job was with the Teachers Union for the state of Florida. And I worked with organizational development and training to the vice president. And we worked with teachers, which was my love and how I began to talk. I didn't know if I wanted to definitely teach, but I wanted to be with education and how it was moving forward and what it looked like for students. And so I worked there for some years and moved on through and decided that I can't run from that teaching.
All right.
And that I needed to come back to that. We moved to Clarksville. I got married and moved to Clarksville, Tennessee, did some other things and went ahead and went back into education, went out on Fort Campbell's Post and subbed and did some teaching there. And then I was called to Tabernacle Baptist Church, summoned by the school's founder and executive director, Cervella Terry and Jimmy Terry. And they said, we need you here at our school. And so I came on board there to bring about accreditation, which was something that they truly desired. And that was my background, working with teachers and administration. And so it was a wonderful fit. And so we did that and became fully accredited school through SAS, through the Southern Association of Colleges and Schools.
Very good.
And so we are one of the few private Christian schools in the state that has achieved that honor. And I am currently continuing with my education at Trevecca University and getting a master's in educational leadership. And so we're just ecstatic. That's a little bit about me and what we're doing there as far as my background is concerned in bringing that forth to Tabernacle Christian School.
Now, how old is this school? Is this a relatively new school? Give us some information in reference to the
Well,
school
in
itself.
the history, I guess, of schooling, it would be a young school. This is our 11th year. So not quite new, but we're pretty much new kids on the block. But certainly with its 11th year, we've proved a little bit of staying power in our quality of education, our standardized testing, at least grade level above the national standard. That is a national testing that we do there at the school.
And so you've got a well-organized institution, been there for 11 years in Clarksville, Tennessee, is that right? And
that's correct.
Associated with the Tabernacle Baptist Church. And
That's
so this
correct.
Is that
Yes, and this is their 29th year, if I'm not mistaken. We sit on about 30 acres right there in the heart of Clarksville, Tennessee, up from downtown, right up from Austin Peay State University. And so we are poised to move quickly ahead.
And so things are really going for that institution, and you've got a lot of things that are planned, and we want to talk about some of the things that you have planned. We want to talk about some of the students that you have and some of your programs later on after the end of this segment, Ms. Stallworth, as well as perhaps saying something about some of your fundraising activities and some of the things that you feel that the people can do excuse me, in order to support you. And of course, we're getting ready for our first commercial break, and we'll be back with our audience following this very, very short commercial break.